I hope everything will go well for today since I'm the debut of the event. I maybe have some awkward moment because I'm not really a pro streamer, so please excuse me for any mistake and bad streaming. Okay, moment. So today we will talk about mostly the basic stuff of how to like composing your team and like how to see who is good, which hero is good and which hero is bad. So let's start. First of all, we will have to like when you want to composing your team, you will need to consider something first. First of all, when you are consider composing your team, you will need to realize this team is for the early or the mid-season onward. Because as you already know, the early of the season, you don't have very high costs for to compose your team. So you will want to have like very low cost heroes so that you can add more heroes to your team. However, for scene mid-season forward, most of people have high palettes already and upgrade some of their work so the team starts to build up to cost like 18, 19, and 20. And that's when the fun start of this game. Also, there's some team that very specify in being good in the early game, like the assassin team of Zhang Liao. You know, the team of Zhang Liao, Xiao Yuan, and Wu Jia. That team is very good at early game. It can like most of the time kill 10 or 15 teams if the phase is good. So you will want to rush that team as soon as possible. However, there are some team like the Lucent team of three Wu General, the Zhao Yu, Lu Sun, and Lu Meng. That's one that is cost very high. However, that team suck badly at the early because you don't have the tech pawn to upgrade all of the skill, and you can't really like afford to lose all those soldiers to train that team at the early stage. So you will want to delay that team to the later part. So that's the difference between the early and the mid-season team. So you will want to see where are you in the season. Normally, most of the time, the earlier part of the season consists about 3 to 4 weeks. Mostly the one in 1 month. After that, it's the mid-season forward, and you will need good team, not like composing anything in like the early season anymore. So next one you will want to consider when you are composing a team is whether you want to compose a team for PvE or PvP content. As you already know, the PvE and PvP are very different. In PvE, the AI team lack most of the time they lack the complement of each other. Like some of the tactic in the skill in the AI in general doesn't really make any sense. So you have the breathing room to make error. And also you will want to be heavily focused on offense when you build PvE team because like level A and level 9, level 10, they have tremendous advantage over our team in number. Especially the level 10 one, they will have 45,000 each and they have 3 teams. So you will want to kill as much as possible with the PvE team. However, when you do PvP team, you can't expect the the other team will be easy like in the PvE. As you want to do when you're fighting other people, you will want to compose your team with the best you have, best general, best skills, best complementing each other. So when you face other, you will expect other people to do the same. So it's very different. You will need to focus more on defense. You will need to focus more on healing. You also will need to focus more on to how to counter their CC, crowd control. So it will be very different between the two types. And also next, you will want to consider about the heroes specify that you want to build the team around. And also sometimes the types specify. Yes, the hero specify is already a given because of course this is the game of hero, so you will want, if you have Lucian, you will want to use him. If you have Aurelian, you will want to use him. So of course, when you build a team, you will be hero specified. However, there's some time, like team like the three brothers, Liu Bei, Wan Yu, and Yang Fei. They can both play as the shield team or the spear team. That's in the moment you will need to consider the type you want to use. And when that moment happens, you will want to see first, which skill do you have? Does that skill only usable as shield or as spear? And then you will want to see which hero you have more red. If like you have the if you have like the one you with full red, and however your Liu Bei only is white, then you will want to maybe use a spear, because that's where you can maximize the stat of one you much better than focus on Liu Bei. However, if you like me, okay, one moment. Here's my screen. One moment, too long. I will need to log in again. Sorry. So if you have, and however, in like my season 8, there's a skill called hit weakness. That skill only usable on steel team. So at that moment, because that skill is very good, the three border at that moment pretty locked in as a shield team. But earlier in year like season 2 and season 3, you can still play the three border at either kind of team. So here is my land. Yeah, we are in very heavy war right now, so my power is not really that good. So, okay, here is my team. So, that is like the introduction about how to composing team. So what do we do? What do we do to consider which team to build? First of all, you will need to understand how to scan your roster. Well, there's a lot of hero in this game, so you will need to consider which team is good, which hero is good to use, which hero is bad to use. So there's 4 categories. First of all, you will have the core of core. This use one version because I didn't have the luck to have some of the good hero. So the core of core, these are the hero that is very easy to build team with and around, and they are most of the time the pillar of that team also. So if you have this general, you should never inherit those general if you only have one. So first on the list, it will be Cao Cao. Cao Cao, he is the pillar of the Wei team. Like 99% of the Wei team will need a Cao Cao to actually get good. So if you have Cao Cao, you never inherit, especially because the skill did in Slugma is very bad. So don't inherit him, please. So next one, you will have the second very important one. Next is of course is Liu Bei. Liu Bei is the best healer in the game. Period. There's no one have the consistency of healing like him. Yes, his healing rate is very low. However, he heals round. So if your wild soldier stuck up, he can have every round and make that number lower. As you know, when the other team do damage to your team, there will be a wild soldier and this soldier. At first, the this soldier had, however, after each round, the number of wild soldier will transfer into this soldier. So if you have frequently like Liu Bei, it will be very good that the number of wild soldier that convert to this soldier, keeping it low and actually revert back to active soldier, so your team can be better. Next, the third one will be Yugelia. You know him, but he's in the game. Yugelia is in the story, he's like God, and of course in this game also his stat is very high, his growth is very high, and his skill is OP. He's actually can have the chance to block the launching of active tactic of 2 of the enemies, so it can act like magic. The next one you will need to consider is Lu Xun. In the Wu team, if you have Lu Xun, you have like 60% of the Wu team already, because his damage is tremendous. His skill is can also burn and actually have the chance to all the other team also. And the last one, the very surprisingly one, is actually, wait a moment, Tai Shi. Well, yes, sounds very strong. However, Tai Shi, he's had the ability that he have the cavalry and bow as. So in the Wu camp, most of the team are actually the Wu cavalry or the Wu bow, and he's good in bow, so he can complement any team of the Wu, and he's like very versatile. He can actually, because of his skill, given that he can perform 2 knockman attack each round, so he can use very good single strike tactic. Any skill up single strike, and his review is very good. So that makes him very, very versatile. It makes him a very good card to consider. Next group you will need to consider, that is the main core. These are very strong and useful heroes. When you try consider inherit or exchange or use this hero as food, consider all other options if possible, because these ones are very good and you will want to keep them as much as possible. So we will come to the first one. This is Pang Tong. Yes, this is the hero of season 2. You will want to pull one Pang Tong regardless, because he is so good. He's very good from season 2 and up until my season 8. He's always in a core team, and his ranking is always high. Even if you only have the Y1, he's very valuable because of his skill. That linking other, he linking the enemy with together, and if you damn one, you damn the other. So he's very good. Never, ever try to inherit Pang Tong or use him as food. Even if you don't have team for him, just keep him there, because someday you will have, and suddenly you have a very good team. The next one you will need to keep is Wan Yu. 2 of the 3 brother, or the second brother of the 3 brother. His stat is crazy high. He has basically no weakness. His strength growth is very good. His defense is also good. His intelligence isn't as good as the other 2, but it's still very high, that he doesn't take plenty of damage from strategic damage. And his speed is good. The only downside of him is his skill rate is very, very bad, only 35%. Like complement it. So that's that. Next one will be, you will need to save, is Yang Fei. Here, Yang Fei, his skill is jamming all of the other, and it will be warranted that he will damn the other in round number 2 and number 4 because of his consistency, you see, and also his stat is very good. That's make him very, very strong general. As actually in the three brother team, he is the man down dealer. So if you have him, keep him. The next one is Zhao Yun. This one is self-explanatory because his stat is so high and he have insight that he doesn't scare of any control skill, so he have that. So next we will move into the Wu Cam. The Wu Cam, you will have Sun Sang. This is the exclusive general of season 2. Her skill that allow her have a very high damage burst. So if you have her, don't try to inherit her, especially because the skill Blind Union is very bad. So actually I only see people use this skill Blind Union in season 2. Afterward, nobody uses. So if you have two Sun Sang, please just keep the bow and give her a red one. The next one will be Sun Quan. His stats is good, his skill is also good because you know it. And especially because Sun Quan is actually the lowest rate if you want that you could pull. So if you have one, please keep, and even later you want to keep. And so, and the last one that the core general of Wu would be, he would be Ganning because his skill allowing him having 50% raise up dealing critical damage, which means like double the damage. Actually, in his case, it will be 204 20% damage because of his skills, so it's very good. Those are the Su and the Wu Cam, the main core. Oh, it's 17 minutes, so we will have a little game. So please, people, typing number 1 right now. So the staff will have the chance to give you some gift. The first 5 people will have a gift. Please, fast. Yeah, that's the game. I think we have people. Well, I will leave the game for like the start to conclude it. He'll just tip number 1 and who will have it. Next one, the core general of Wei also. For Wei, we will need to consider first of all, actually, very surprisingly, Xiao Yuan. What? He's not looking really impressive. However, when you see it, his skills have actually a 60% rate of activate. So if you give him like brute force, and if you go to the later season and the skill desperate set, he will have the combos. The skill has 60% of activating rate, so every round he would activate it once at least. And because most of the time he will go also with the Tiger Cavalry, it will go up to like 70%. So the skill is very good, and he have high strength rate, high speed rate, so he have a very high burst potential. The next one we will need to consider will be Sima Yi. Yeah, Sima Yi, the star of the season 2. His skill is good, his start is good, and however, you will need to know that to have Sima Yi as the full potential, you will need to pull at least 2 of Sima Yi because he will need the skill that inherit from him, that is Transcendence. However, I don't recommend you inherit the first Sima Yi because he can also work with other skill because even in his innate skill, he have like the rate to 7% rate to do the critical damage of strategy damage, so he can be still be usable as only one. However, he's not as good as having the inherent skill from him also. And the last one we Yang Liao. So explained, he is very good with the start and the skill, able to have 68% to lock on to the other commander. As I said before, the team of assassin, including Zhang Liao, Xiao Yuan, and Wu Jia, will have very good percent to finish off all the people, all the team commanders. So it's you will want, if you want to use Yang Liao, you will want to build him as soon as possible, because in later stage when on the how should I say, what is that, when the people in common max out, the number of soldier on each team will be too high for Yang Liao to actually finish the other team fast. So you will want to build as fast as possible. He's very strong in early and early game, early season, and in the early part of the mid season. However, later the team will fall off a lot. So if you want to use Yang Liao, you will want to build his team as fast as possible. That's for the way. And the last one you will want to is Liu Bu. As the saying, among horse, red hair, among people, Liu Bu. Liu Bu and his skill has very high burst damage. However, if you want to use Liu Bu, you will need to have 3 of him, because you will need to use the skill of Unstoppable Rider, and also the other skill in human strength of the even skill of seasons 2, that you will need 1 more Liu Bu and Yuan Shao. Liu Bu will need those 2 skills to be able to burst a lot of damage. And the other one that it could be called would be Yang Yao. Yang Yao, when I play in season 2, actually not that good. However, now they fix his skill. He doesn't need to be the commander to be able to inflict all. He has 30% of inflicting all. However, and his skill is have actually five times hitting the target, so the chance is very high. Most of the time when I see Yang Yao, if his skill go up, he will at least inflict all twice. So that's very crazy damage and all rate as well. So those are the main core of the hero. If you have those one, you will want to keep them, because those are very good heroes. Next will be some useful hero that will be usable, and if you want to inherit them for the skill, you may want to consider the order first. Otherwise, they can if you don't have the team for those heroes, you can actually still use them. But like I said, it's not really a priority. So first one would be the order. So let's see, it would be it's UC. Yes, as you can see, all of his start is only C, and however, because of he have the say skill started, this one give him the, if I remember right, 30% of the start, so it negates all the bad thing of the tip C. So actually all of his all of his tab is actually all of them are A. So he's very good. The same apply to Hutu and also UG. Those 3 are the 3 say, and they can all have the same status to boost their stat. The strong point of UC, because he gives the whole team 35% of evade, and because most of people don't have always hit, so that actually give you the first 2 round very good defense, and also later from round 3 he also give rest for 3 rounds, so you have defense into round 2 first round, and 3 round later you have heal, so which give him very versatile as a support. Then from and on, you will have the way up. Let's see. Guja. This skill also in 2 rounds you will whip the commander the inside effect, and because a lot of CC there is in this game, so this one giving the inside is very valuable. Also, it will reduce the damage for the general for the commander 50%, and his stat is also good. Yeah, there's there is some mistake that thinking that Guja can only play the support position. However, please look at his stat, the intelligence of him. He has 96 base intelligence and had 2.64% intelligence. His intelligence stat is crazy high, and his speed is the fastest one of all the intelligent ones. So he's actually, if you equip him with damage, strategy damage skill, he can inflict a lot of damage also. Next, from there on, you will have Eugene. Eugene, he's have guaranteed damage every round. He will do damage 2 units every round. This one, if you calculate exactly, it will replace his normal attack with a skill that damage other 50%. Beside Eugene, you will have Su Huang, Chen Yu, and Su Chu. Those one are also very useful. For the other one that you can consider, for the Wu you will have Chen Pu. Chen Pu at first I also gonna consider him very low. However, after that, after reading his skill, clearly his skill is very good because when receiving damage, there will be 30% chance to purify all the negative effect of himself. This means if you are inflict him with burn or fallen, all of them, it will be clean. And then you are random enemies. What does that mean? So if you have like a team of Yao Yu, Lu Sun, and Lu Man, and somehow you damage Chen Pu, this one it's receiving damage. It doesn't matter if it were weapon damage or strategy damage. It will, if it activate, let's say Yao Yu go first and somehow damage Chen Pu, and Chen Pu or Lu Sun, it's in the other team round. However, that because Lu Sun is on, he can't do anything. It's very magical like that sometimes. So he's one of the best tanker in the game. Actually, that's for the useful hero. On other one, the rest you can exchange with really anything care. So those are those are the hero that you will need to notice when you scan your team. Next, how do you go? You will need to choose what do you want to build. You will want to. The team will be divided into 3 categories. First, it's based on how many rounds that you will want your team to fight. First, it will be the team that fight in 3 to 4 rounds, very high burst down, like my team of Blue Bull. Yeah, it's not really special. However, because the skill of Blue Bull and Blue Bull, you can't really expect him to fight on a round of the battle. So you will want to focus so that he can burst as high as possible in the first 3 to 4 rounds. The same system applied to the Yang Liao team. Next, you will have the 4 to 6 round team. These are the balanced kind of team. Most of the tier 0 team, the strongest team in game belong to this one. So this one is mostly a skill, like the 3 brother and the 3 the minister, the wisdom of Shu team. This team, both of them have the damage to finish up on the other. However, because their skill most of the time consists prepare phase, so it can't really finish in 3 to 4 rounds like the other team. So they will need to delay a little bit. However, because this general and the combination very good, so they can balance in both offense and defense. And then you will have the 6+ round team like the Sima Yi team. Sima Yi make a comeback later. So most of the time, as you can see, oh, this one is not good. As you can see, even in this battle, the Sima Yi team have tremendous overwhelming number. They have 28, nearly 29,000. So the other team only have like 8,000. However, they still need 4 rounds to finish the other team because their focus is most of the time go into the round 6 and later. And this team most of the time consists of many skills that allowing them to drag out the battle. Like in this case, the Rattan lower on the physical damage, appease the crowd. This skill also reduce on damage received. Arrow formation burst damage of Sima Yi and reduce on damage of other. Zhao Zhao also boost damage and receive and lower damage. And because Manchong is the hero of Season A, he also actually a drag out cap team. And in Sima Yi, as I said, he will need transcendent the skill of his inherit to building them and unrecognizable chance. The skill also most of the time considered to be a defense one because it will give Sima Yi the 30% of evade for the first 3 rounds. So when you composing your team, you will want to know whether you want to build a high burst team like Yang Liao and Lu Bu, or you want to build a normal one to balance both offense and defense, or you want to build a somewhat team that will drag out like Sima Yi team. So the composition of making a team, if you use a team that only high burst team like 3 to 4 rounds, ideally it will have 2 or more damn dealer. Like in Yang Liao, the Yang Liao team, there will be Yang Liao and Xiao Yuan as damn dealer. Gu Jia is there for the support. If you have in 4 to 6 round, in 4 to 6 round team, like let's example fight like the Three Brother, there will need to be a man damn dealer. In this case, it will be Yang Fei, and then you will need one support one. It will be Liu Bei. And in this team, actually, one you will have the role of crowd control. Yes, he can do that, but his main use is actually doing crowd control so that Yang Fei can do his damn in peace. So meanwhile, if you use a team like Sima Yi, most of the time there's only one damn dealer. It will be Sima Yi. See, Sima Yi, and the other 2 most of the time consist on the CC and healing and support and damn blocking. So the faster you want to finish the fight, the more damn dealer you will need. So so you will need to choose, as I already say before, you will need to choose skill to complement each other. Like in the Three Brother skill, them normally have intimidate because the skill of Yang Fei. If there's intimidate and it will give disarm to the other team, there will be it will make that when Yang Fei uses skill in round 2, it will lower the enemy defense into 50%. That will be complement. And also the skill of when you His skill also have the chance, the 50% chance to inflict disarm or fall on. So it will also complement into the like if you want to use 1 you will want to use the 1 minute 5 second hit first. That way if he activate his skill, he will go first before Yang Fei can use his skill. So it will have the chance to disarm the other, and Yang Fei will have the ability to lower the other defense. That is like only the basic of concept of making choose. However, it's only in theoretically. You need to accept that sometimes theoretically it will be a superior team, but somehow it won't work in action. It's maybe because somehow Koei decided this week the Fae will be bad on the lower skill, the lower rank skill will not activate as much, or sometimes just because somehow like when you're facing Gunning team, Gunning just somehow decide today is his day and critical a lot. There's nothing you can do about it. So you will, if you want to build your team, you will need to try and error a lot. Like me, I also tried a lot in a season, and so only some team is good. That is just the basic of all. So now I will move to the Q&A question part because actually we are running out of time. So we will move into the Q&A part, and there will be also some reward in this part. So please join us for the question and answer part of this game. Sima Yi, if you have Sima Yi and you have no Transcendent, you will want to use the first of all the unrecognizable chance because that skill will move will solely make Sima Yi have the chance to actually use his skill later because even in his innate tactic skill he will have damage two enemy from round 6 to round 8. So you will want to drag out the battle as much as possible when you use Sima Yi. So first would be unrecognizable chance. Second, it depends on the other part of the team. Because you don't have Transcendent, I would recommend adding another damn dealer, maybe like Su Chu or Su Huang. After then you can add another skill to Sima Yi like Bait because Bait will do strategy dam. The rate is not that bad and also boost the dam of the other dam dealer. That way Sima Yi would be also could be complement the other dam dealer and the team would be not so much losing that dam. Is it better to set Sima Yi, Cao Cao, and Manchong or instead of Sima Yi, Yang Junhua, and Manchong? It depends on how much red do you have. Because Sima Yi and Manchong both team have both of those, so you don't need to consider them first. However, Zhao Zhao and Zhang Chunhua is not a core hero, and her cost is very low, so you can actually use Zhang Junhua earlier in the game. Cao Cao Zhao Zhao in the meanwhile has cost 7, so you will have to train him from the mid-season onward, and also he is very hard to pull. So it depends. If you have Zhang Junhua full red and your Cao Cao is only white, maybe you use Zhang Junhua because the skill big guy. After the fix, they have the bonus to the activation rate if the one equipped is female. So the answer is if Yang Chunhua full red, Cao Cao white, use Yang Chunhua. If Cao Cao and Yang Chunhua have the same amount of red, use Cao Cao would be better. Or if you want to use Cao Cao in other team like the Jieshu team, then use Cao Cao on other team, and you can use Yang Chunhua in Sima Yi team also. We want to build both team and is it Kim Sang Sang lose soon and see how my both team situation. Yeah, you should and do Sun Sang Sang lose soon and see how you are. Actually, I forgot one thing. When you building your team, you will want to use the hero in the same camp because even now until 7 8, there's the bonus for the same camp is still 10% and it will require you the three hero to be in the same camp to activate. If you have even just one hero that on the same not in the same camp, you will lose that. 10% of stat is very high. Let's say like in the Lusun case, his intelligence at level 15 will be 200, more than 250. So you lose 10% of that stat, if you will lose like 25 star intelligence, not to mention on the other stat and other generals. So it will be very bad. You will like giving the handicap of like 2 or 3 red. So you will want to build a team at the same camp first. Next, should you build it as Sun Sang Sang, Lu Sun, and Ganning? I don't recommend it because that team is too offensive focused and they doesn't complement each other as well. Maybe if you have Sun Sang Sang and Ganning, you can build Ganning, Sun Sang Sang, and Cheng Pu. It will be better. And we have a layer for early season players, so we can utilize purple hero. Yes, I will give you one. Two actually. One, if you have Si Hao Yuan, you can use Yang Ren and Yu Jun. That's one is called the black magic one for civilization, the one who don't spend as much. First, Yuan Sao you will want to have pain and sword. That skill is very low. That skill is very have very high percent of pulling because it will only require this one. I forgot. Uh, I have actually a lot of that one. I pulled too much of that. Shit. So, Dengai, yeah, Dengai and Dengai and Younghui. You will pull a lot of Dengai and Younghui in this game. So pain and sword. It will boost the intelligence of strength based on the damage because the skill of Yuan Sao have both physical and strategy damage. So when you use that pain and sword, it will boost both of his strength and intelligence, which is very good. The other skill you can use aside or in this, if you have already inherited Xiao Yuan or Huang Yang, you can use also Rain of Arrow. For young rain, I will recommend using white, brown, and true tone and using red and pillage. Red and pillage you can inherit from, where is it? Red and pillage. Yeah, from Li Zhu. Because this skill also have 35% of activation rate. That is not good as the falling phoenix of Jiangren, however, it will all. Giving him also the white brow, boosting the skill rate into 47%, which give Yang Ren a very high activation rate of giving other team Fallen and also all. And for Yujun, if possible, you will want to use Aegon Lock formation inherit from Current and also Unstoppable Elite. Unstoppable Elite is two skill. One moment. The Aegon Lock formation to Yujun and also the type Unstoppable Elite. That way, because of the use of the skill, it will give the whole world group 22 pound of defense And if Yuan Sao also activate his skill, it will be also give the whole team 50 point of defense. It will be like 72 point of defense. Your team will have very high defense. And because Yuan Sao have the skill pain and work, when he active his skill, it will also boost his intelligence to very high. Usually his skill, because of his start also heavily on the intelligence, so the defense and the intelligence of the team is high, so it will all still be very sustainable. And because the owner of the skill are very cheap, so that will be still easy enough for newbie to use. The other team would be using gunning and let's see, one moment. Gunning and where is he? Gunning, Handang, and also Hanjang. You will use the skill team Wu Ball because it will have true ability and Handang. If you also say you the same at Gunning, it will use Aside and Wicked Link. Handang, if possible, you will please use white white horse of me and white horse of me, and you give him another control one like falling phoenix or something. For Panjang, if you have you the same ways as the young man before, just give him the white brow and red and pillar. That way you have a team very fast because of white horse tip. It will always go first. And then you have a lot of control from True WT and also True WT Falling Phoenix, Red and Peanut. You will have like Fall On and two skill giving all. So it will have a lot of control, and the damage gunning with those two skill will do a lot of damage, so you don't really need to care about that. Also, the White House have with boosting the chance of activate. That team have a very high activating chance. So that is also one magic team I recommend from season 2. Question: who is better, one purple full red or one gold officer? One purple full red and one gold officer. It depends on which officer are we talking about. If it is Yujun or Jiangren, and the other gold officer is the one, as I said before, belong to the 4 category, the useless one, like let's say uh, let's say Jurong or like Sunjan or Menghu, then definitely please use the purple one. However, there are many useless purple one also, so only the higher tier of the purple one would do that. Otherwise, you gone. If no unstoppable elite, what else is good for usual? One moment. Let me remember one more. If you don't have unstoppable elite, you can also use mutual support. You can have for that team, or you can see also use barrier. It's not that bad also. So one guy can add Yao Yun to the team if I don't have CC. Yes, in Yao Yun is also one of the hero that can fit into own team. However, I would actually recommend you try some other Wu Cam officer because, yeah, as I said, Yao Yun is from Shu Cam. If you add it to the team, Lu Sun and Huang Gai will lose like 10% of the stat boost, which is a lot. And since you don't have Thai CC, I doubt your Lu Sun have very high rest, so that stat boost is a lot. So maybe you use someone like Hang Dan or something like that. Yes. Yao Yun, Ma Chao, Su Su, Pang Tong, and Wan Yu. I mean, season 2, I was looking at Su team. My best for you would be using Yao Yun, Ma Chao, and Wan Yu as spear team. It would be called the Fire Tiger spear team. Su, please don't use him. Su is a fraud. His skill has very low activation. Let me show you. Su. I love Susu as a person in the story. However, in this game, Susu is very bad. They really make him bad. Here, Susu. Because here is skill. As max level is have only 35% of activation rate. It's very low. And the problem is even if you boost the activation rate of his skill, the problem will stay in that when his skill is activated, you will still need to roll only the chance to so 3 times. Each time only have 60% of inflict the status damage. So it's very bad. If you are basically you will need to roll the dice 4 times to have the max effect of Susu skill. And most of the time I see it only have like 1 or 2 effect. Rarely all 3 effect have at the same time. So please don't use Susu. Any tip for using Young Lao team? Yes, there's one very important tip for using Young Lao team if you want to use him when riding. Do not level up Young Lao. Do not level up Young Lao in static skill until like level 20 and 25 or something. 20, no, sorry, level 20. Only level up his skill, the innate skill when you have level 20 and it can equip on 3 skill. So both 2 skill because if you level up the chance of focus on commander rise tremendously. If you don't level up, it's only 30 around 35%, so it can still manage. Just let's see how Yuan do the damage Yang Lao for the ride or go in for the ride until level 20. After that, you can level up the whole team, the skill of the whole team. At that time, you can like actually overachieve, over level. Like normal team at level 25, they can only go like level 5, level 6. However, Yang Lao team at level 25 can actually sometimes can go to level 7 land already. So that's that. Ma Yunlu, I'm sorry, don't use Ma Yunlu. Ma Yunlu, her skills sound good. However, she is just a bad person. She will need to use combo to maximize her skill because her skill focus heavily on normal attack. Here, let me show you. One moment. Well, easy. Yeah, my you know. Boost normal attack down by 60% is depend on the target troop loss. In round 5, lock onto an enemy with the lowest fog until the end of battle. And normal turn attack has 70% chance of inflict negative recovery. As you can see, her skill only boosts the normal damage attack. And so you will want to give her brute force. And because if you prefer, you will want to give her like single strike tactic. However, if you do that, you better use your Machao. Machao has the same skill, have the same skill requirement, and his damage is much better. His stat is much better. Yuan Sao, Sun Sang Sang, Pang Tong, is it good? Hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good because Sun Sang Sang more will want more go for more round, more like burst team time. Sun Sang Sang most of the time will be built to be like 3 to 4 round fighting team. Meanwhile, Yuan Sao and Pang Tong because both of them have static that need preparation to activate. So normally their skill will be go off in round 3 at least. So it will be too late for Sun Sang Sa. They just don't complement each other very much. And also because Yuan Sao, because Pang Tong is damn dealer, poor damn dealer. You can't really use Pang Tong for support. It will be a waste. And Sun Sang Sang is also a damn dealer. So that will be you will leave Yuan Sao with like support, and because Yuan Sao in a tactic is already a damn dealing skill, and now you add White House, you only have one slot left to adding the support skill. It's not enough for this team because this team I think will last at least 5 to 6 rounds. And thus, if you want to use a 5 to 6 round team, you will need at least 2 to 3 supporting skill, and this is just simply not enough. So I don't think Yuan Sao, Sun Sang Sang, Pang Tong would be good. Oh, okay, I think we are over stream for a lot, double the time. I suppose to only do this in 30 minutes, and we are nearly 1 hour. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for coming and listening. Hoping to see you next time.